giving your valuable association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Ramindax Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining the call and giving your daily association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees on the call. This is Anita from Georgia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anta Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All wish to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha Rani Devidasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, all glories to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Radha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and the assembled devotees. This is Shiromani Nandrani Devidasi from Qatar. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Srimad Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shyamagori Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your valuable association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to us devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your valuable association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Is there anybody else who would like to introduce?
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call and giving your valuable association. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji has not joined yet, Mataji.
Okay. If anybody would like to introduce more, please go ahead. We can do the introduction Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Maharaj. So my name is Srinivas from Hyderabad, India.
Hare
Please
Krishna,
accept my humble obeisances.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining the call and giving your association. This is the first time Prabhuji you are joining.
No, Mataji, I keep joining, but last 2 weeks I could not able to join because I was in Vrindavan. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sureshwar Sham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Conference Call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Pran Govind Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto 14th Chapter verse 27 onwards. First, I would like to hand over call to Suresh Prabhuji for brief introduction of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Suresh Swam Prabhuji, Tanvat Pranamal, Vishnu Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. His Grace Pran Govind Prabhuji is a devotee from his childhood. When Prabhuji was 8 or 9, just by being in presence of Srila Prabhupada, Prabhuji desired to become a devotee. After graduating at the early age of 15, Prabhuji stayed in Mayapur and Vrindavan and received initiation and started serving in various roles, such as in Mayapur Dham as guest house manager, general manager, as a facilitator of prasadam and accommodations for GBCs, sannyasis, devotees, and life members. As a life membership director and fundraiser for Mayapur temple. Later, Prabhuji moved to US. For many years, Prabhuji has been serving the devotees in Alachwa temple in many ways, such as Krishna Katha in various study groups and counseling for devotees to overcome their challenges on spiritual path. Prabhuji will be soon taking to sannyas to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for introduction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Our goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now I would like to hand over call to you, Prabhuji. Welcome to the Bhakti Sangha Conference Call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mother?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to take 1 minute to sing.
Yeah, please, Prabhuji.
Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaurnitai Bhagavan ki jai, Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Krishna Balaram ji ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam class ki jai, Swamivat Vaishnav Brinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari. Hare Krishna, Mother. So this morning we are serving Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto, Chapter 14, text 27. Am I right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So before beginning, we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and there is a significance why we chant. We discussed last time. So please chant together because it's the Zoom. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in Madhulila, chapter 20, text 253 explains that Krishna reveals himself through the Vasudev. There is a 3 level. To go to Krishna, we have to come to Vasudev platform first, then the Narayan conception, then Krishna conception. There's a gradual progression also. It's not just happen automatically. So first we pray to Vasudev so that we come in contact with pure goodness. Then pure goodness will allow us to have darshan of the Lord and to serve the Lord. Then after we chant this mantra, then Srila Prabhupada introduces us to go next mantra. Narayanam namaskritam naranchaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Before reciting this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasdev, the author, and Srila Prabhupada, the translator and commentator of Bhaktivedanta purport. Nasta prayasa bhadresu nitam bhagavato sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki. If we do 2 things every day, we do Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja and hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then all this anartha that is blocking us from elevating our consciousness to pure goodness will be more or less destroyed, almost destroyed. And Krishna Bhakti, loving service unto Sri Krishna, Radha Krishna, divine couple, who is always praised with Uttama Sloka, transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Irrevocable fact means nobody can take it away. It is our eternal right, the soul's eternal right. So with that note, we are going to begin today's sloka. So because the sloka is prose, I'm going to just recite the way I thought about. If somebody knows how to rhyme those prose sloka, I am not so expert on those. So I'm going to rhyme it, not rhyming, but the way I understood. Advani amasmin ime upasarga tatha sukha dukha raga desha bhayo abhimana pramada unmada sukha moha lobha matsajja israya abhamanaskut pipasa adi vedi janma jara marana adaya. Sounds very sweet, but actually these are the definition of miseries. What is miseries made of? If you ever wonder, I'm sure we are experiencing, so we know. Maybe you all are devotee, elevated your consciousness to be in pure goodness. You may not experience, but I went through this. I'm still probably go through this. So these are wonderful 20 qualities of what misery made of. So Srila Prabhupada's translation and purport. In this materialistic life, there are many difficulties, as I have just mentioned, and all of these are insurmountable. In addition, there are difficulties arising from so-called happiness, distress, attachment, hate, fear, false ego, false prestige, illusion, madness, lamentation, bewilderment, greed, envy, enmity, insult, hunger, thirst, tribulation, disease, birth, old age, and death. All this combined together to give the materialistic conditioned soul nothing but misery. But of course, all this wonderful experience that every conditioned soul goes through has its origin in spiritual world. And more we focus on this, it's very, very illuminating how over there it's nourishing these qualities or these elements, but here it causes us experience misery. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The conditioned soul has to accept this condition simply to enjoy sense gratification in this world. Although people declare themselves great scientists, economists, philosophers, politicians, and sociologists, they are actually nothing but rascals. Therefore, they have been described as mudhas, and naradhamas in the Bhagavad Gita 7:15. Adante naradhama maya parita gena asuram bhavam ashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. I'm sure you all are familiar with that verse. And see, while I'm reading, if you can catch how many times Prabhupada writes the word Naradama. He made a very heavy statement on this. So continuing, due to their foolishness, all these materialists are described in Bhagavad Gita as Naradhamas. They have attained the human form in order to get released from material bondage. But instead of doing so, they become further embarrassed amid the miserable material conditions. Therefore, they are Naradhamas, the lowest of man. One may ask whether scientists, philosophers, economists, and mathematicians are also Naradhamas, the lowest of man. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead replies that they are, because they have no actual knowledge. They are simply proud of their false prestige and position. Actually, they do not know how to get relief from the material condition and renovate their spiritual life of transcendental bliss and knowledge. Consequently, they waste time and energy in the search for so-called happiness. These are the qualifications of the demons. In Bhagavad Gita, it says that when one has all these demoniac qualities, he becomes mudha, mudha. Due to this, he envies the Supreme Godhead. Therefore, birth after birth, he is born into a demoniac family, and he transmigrates from one demoniac body to another. He forgets his relationship with Krishna, and he remains a Naradama in an abominable condition, life after life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I would like to try to get the blessing of Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara. You all can join if you like by folding hand and offering your heart in a form of flower through your subtle body at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Bhargavas. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Genanjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahayam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitangsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataruvesya Kripa Sindhupaye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. So this morning, when I was reading this purport, I asked myself with a few questions. What is the actual definition of Naradama, and am I Naradama, and how did I become Naradama, and how do I get out of Naradama stage? What is my origin? That degraded stage is Naradama, and how do I go back to my origin? So many lecture of Srila Prabhupada explains that soul is in their constitutional position as Uttama, just like the Lord. So Naradham has to become Uttama. Then the second question is, although as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, although people declare themselves great scientists, economists, philosopher, politician, sociologist, they are actually nothing but rascals, we just read. Therefore, they have been described as mudhas and naradhamas. Now, of course, if I mention this to somebody on the street, they may not agree with it. But then Prabhupada gives a very good reason. And I found the origin of this Naradama verse that Prabhupada had from Bhagavad Gita, where I'm going to read also his commentary, his purport on this. It's so wonderful. It's almost similar, but he gives more details why they are Naradama and how they are Naradama. And third question is, all these 21 qualities that causes us suffering, what is the real suffering? So first of all, I'm going to discuss what is the real suffering. In a basic level, yes, we have some idea about, some idea about birth, death, old age, disease. That's true. Everybody will say that, yes, nobody wants those, but we do go through. But during the lifetime, we do not see that actually it is so much suffering because we don't focus on death. Until the moment of death comes, we don't think of death so much. But in this chapter, very elaborate description of a conditioned soul, especially the karmis, because devotees are admitted in the bhakti hospital. So they are patients still, just like the outsider, but they are under treatment. So it's difference than those who are not accepted by or admitted in the hospital or accepted by the doctors. Here, doctor means spiritual master, Prabhupada. Now, this is a very interesting that how this chapter gives us so much details. First of all, just to refresh, when the youthful Jarabharat was enlisted as a palanquin carrier for King Rahuguna, instead of protesting the proud order, he humbly accepted. So we can see who is elaborating this, the quality, such a great quality of Jarabharat, who is explaining this to King Rahuguna. It's very wonderful. There was, however, one slight problem, if you all remember, because Jarabharat was so careful to avoid stepping on any ants. So that's called a a diseased person who got better, cured, and got a healthy body. He was diseased just like all or of Krishna consciousness. But one who actually got leave or doctor released him from sickness, that is Jarabharat. So Jarabharat, from his own experience, he's expressing this. So it's very interesting that when Jarabharat was even to step on a one little ant, he was very careful. Of course, that made Palakuin unsteady. So outraged by his incompetence, the king Rahuguna chastised Jarabharat with vile language and threatened him with punishment. And the saintly Abadut Maharaj Bharat, however, responded with perfect humility, clarity, and I would say spirituality also. And Bharat Maharaj gave very deeply philosophical responses to the insult. But interesting, we can learn from Rahuguna, who immediately became humble and repentant. So we hear all this problem in this world. Is it affecting us? That's the question. Rahuguna was affected, and he immediately detected. Affected means detection, means we detect in our consciousness. He detected the greatness of Jarabharat and begged forgiveness and guidance. And he asked a variety of questions to further understand the deep philosophical import of Jarabharat's word. And Jarabharat's main teachings that covered in this few chapter, which is one more, actually not so much of teaching next chapter, but I remember chapter 11, nature of the mind, how it entangled the soul and how to conquer it. And then next chapter 12, it was explaining the falsity and temporality of the material world and its identities in contrast with the eternality of the Lord and his devotees and his abode, Golok Dham. And then the last chapter, previous chapter and this chapter, these two chapters, it's about the forest of material enjoyment. It's an allegory, of course, to explain how the conditioned soul enters this world with the selfish. This is the key point. Selfish, apatitude. Selfish you can translate into many ways. One is sense gratification. One is separate interest. Another meaning can be apathy to Krishna consciousness or apathy to devotional service. What caused actually loneliness, impersonalism, and that's what caused ultimately to become envy to God even. All this started from that apathy to devotional service, according to Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. Also, we see it in my own life. So this chapter explains that how soul with that his inner consciousness is apathy to devotional service, meaning he's not interested to serve God. Even he's challenging to that. Not only not interested, he's challenging. Why? Why do I have to serve God? Why do I have to chant Hare Krishna? But he wants to enjoy separately from God. That spirit got attacked, plundered, injured, illusioned, and completely victimized by different aspect of material world. So this is what depicted here in this, and I'm sure we all probably got enough of hearing this rotten position of the soul. But Jarabharat, at the end, he concluded his profound dissemination of knowledge and encouraged the appropriate King Rahuguna to perfect his life and cross the ocean of material existence. So we must be looking forward that I hope everybody, those who are listening these classes, I really want to glorify Bhakti Japa Sangha group, that they are wonderfully serving the humanity in a big, large scale. I hope individually we can all share this with our friend, neighbors to tap in and listen to those discussions. It may be a little painful in one angle, but if you look at it, the purpose drives these classes or this chapter. What purpose driving? The purpose drives that there will be acknowledgement that who we are, where we are, why we are in this deplorable situation. So once that knowledge is gathered in the heart, then it will give us an impetus, encouragement to perfect our life and cross this material ocean. That's the purpose why Maharaj Bharat is explaining. So, in this sloka, I'm going to just jump on Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. I have the book here. And where Prabhupada explained this Naradama, more we can relate to it as we progress to this. So chapter 7, text 15, the verse Prabhupada gave to this purport. Namam duskritana mora prapadante naradama mayaya aparita gyana asuram bhavam ashrita. So 4 types of duskriti. In this verse, if we look at it, there are 4 types of duskritis. Now, what I understand from Prabhupada's purport, I'm just making headings on that. Every sloka, I try to see what I'm trying to find in that sloka. There are 4 types of duskritis. What is duskritis in one word? That Krishna, the designer who designed this creation, from whom we come, we are part of him. He has a plan. He is a first-class landscaper, you can say. He has a purpose, drives to correct us and to revive our origin and to go back home and live happily forever. So that's Krishna's plan. Anyone don't know the plan, anybody, especially anybody oppose Krishna's plan, are called duskritis. Duskritis, in English, you can translate in many ways, but at least in this verse, there are 4 types of duskritis. Duskriti means miscreants in one sense, but duskriti also that anybody is against or oppose Krishna's plan. So we should be interested what is God's plans, why he created this material world, what was the purpose I'm here. And then now question is, we are in a spiritual hospital, we have a spiritual disease in a sense that we are not interested to serve Krishna, but we are eager. Now we have admitted in the hospital. I don't know if anybody first time listening this class. For them, they have to take admission, means accept a spiritual master to start operating your heart to remove all the unwanted things. And of course, you have to be motivated. You have to be understood before you understand. Understood in a sense, like if you go to a doctor and in the reception you are waiting and doctor comes and he's not even asking your sickness and he says, here is the medicine, take some medicine. You will be probably wonder because this happened one time. But of course, it's a little different story that doctor, finally I found out that he came to know what was the problem. So then he says, if he gives you the medicine, how would you feel? I'm sure you all will agree at certain extent that he didn't even ask me what kind of sickness I have. He just gave me the medicine. So similarly, when you are admitted to Krishna Consciousness Hospital, you must acquire, in a sense, that the doctor or the guru or the devotees, senior devotees, who must explain why you have come, what is your sickness, what is the problem, and this conversation has to be very well understood. So then you will feel confidence. Okay, doctor understood my problem. Now the doctor will come and give the medicine. Of course, when you get the when you understand that, okay, doctor understood my sickness, but that's not enough. He must prescribe. Okay, he gave me medicine. That's not enough. You must take the medicine as he prescribed, like 2 tablets a day, something like that. I'm sure you all are familiar. Unless somebody never got sickness, you may not be aware of what I'm talking about. But generally, that's how the relationship between the doctor and patients are established. And the ultimate result, if it is followed, is goes through the whole thing, guarantee the cure of the sickness. So in this sloka of Bhagavad Gita, I found in the middle, I'm going to read the middle part. Prabhupada says, the Gita answers this question very frankly. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila. See how Prabhupada gives a little difference here, but very interesting. He says that Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manus, Vyasa, Devala, Ashita, Janaka, Prahlada, Bali, later on Madhacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, even he put Sri Chaitanya, many others who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists are surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person. So this is the difference between the modern non-devotees philosopher, non-devotee politician, non-devotee educator or scientist. What is the difference? That Prabhupada even put Lord Chaitanya as also philosopher, scientist, educator, because they actually know the plan of Krishna and they surrender. And then Prabhupada writes, they have no idea, those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educator, administrator, etc., but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan. Remember, before I said, those who don't accept the plan, they are called duskriti, miscreant, or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture now Prabhupada is giving why this is a problem. Because they manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problem of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plan of the atheist and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions. Is it cool the way Prabhupada put it? The atheist plan makers are described herein by the word Duskritina or miscreant. Kritina means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist's brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called Duskritina, which indicates that his intelligence and effort are misdirected. So what I understood from the 5.14.27 verses these, I'm going to now explain that what I understood and what was the main mistake that they did not surrender. Also other day we were reading that difference between the conditioned soul and the Mahatmas, that Mahatmas are under divine potency or Jogomaya, you can say. But if you look at the verse, Daivihesa Gunamoyi, Krishna did not say Maya is Jogomaya and Mahamaya, there is much difference. It's the same source, you can say, but functions are different. That's all. It's very interesting. Because Daivi, divine, in Maya's definition also Krishna used Daivi. Daivi Yasha Gunamoyi. So, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Masrita. In both cases, the guide that guided by is divine energy. Krishna does not differentiate there. So then I was wondering, like, what is that means? This is my Maya, Krishna says, Mama Maya, and it is Durattaya, it is very difficult to overcome. What is that means? Means with our own intelligence, with our own whatever process or plan we make, we can never literally get out of the suffering in this material world. Impossible. Then Krishna says, other half of the verse, Mam eva je prapadante. Mam eva je prapadante means those who surrender unto me, Mayam etam tarantite. They will cross beyond. Or if they will get out of the misery, they will get out of the illusion. So Krishna is saying that this whole world, Trivir Gunair Mayir Bhava Sarvamidam Jagat, the whole world is under Maya. And when we say Maya, Maya doesn't mean only a person, it's also matter. And the matter has two manifestations, subtle and gross. So Maya is a chaya, shadow of Rama Devi, also igniter, also matter. The word Maya has to be seen in all this way. So here question comes that if the whole world is under this illusion, what is the purpose Krishna has? Well, there are metaphor we can focus. If whole world, since whole world, Trivir Gunair Mai, Sarvam Idam Jagat, Sarvam, the whole world is under these three modes. Prabhupada gave example many times that our perception is not clear because of these three modes. And I hope everyone here in this Zoom audience are familiar with those three modes. I'll give you a practical explanation in 1 minute. Right now, I can see myself sitting in the Zoom and I'm moving my hand. So this perception that am able to see is not I am seeing it. I'm only desiring to see, but then the fire god created this zoom. It's not created by China. I mean, yes, it appears like that, but beyond the Chinese intelligence or whoever created this zoom, I'm not sure. There is a demigod involved. And the demigods are directly connected with Super Soul, Krishna. So Maya is overseeing the whole thing. So I am seeing you, or I see some names here. Radha, Boya, Pati, Sureshwar, Prabhu, like this. So I see those names. Now, how do I see the names? So the sun god created this vision. My eyes, in Bhagavad Gita says, all the senses are product of Rajagun, passion. Passion creates, or Rajagun creates these senses. Then the sense object, this letter, wording, the computer, these are product of Tamagun, inertia or ignorance. And sense perception, seeing ability, is Sattvagun. Then where am I? If everything moving by the three modes, I am the seer, feeler, seer here. I am seeing, but I'm not seeing on my own. The demigod, the fire god, the sun god, like I'm speaking, Pracheta is there, the fire god is there making the word, this physical body, the palate, the teeth, the tongue, there's a combination creating. Only thing I'm doing is the desire to speak. From the heart, what realization I have, consciousness emanating from the heart, not from the brain. We don't buy this Western, or not Western, but so-called mundane scientists, the brain. Well, Daksha did not have a brain because he didn't have a head when his head was severe. But he regretted, he repented, and he apologized to Lord Shiva after he was given the head. So Prabhupada put a good logic, how this repentant regret came from, not from the brain, from the heart. So my consciousness to share with you what I understood is also coming from the heart. But from the heart, the desire coming, and the desire has to go through a process. The processor is Paramatma, Super Soul. And that's why the demigods are involved. And then to operate that, so you can hear, this is the function of the Maya Devi. She is actually arranging through the demigod. But the process is Paramatma has to sanction. So this is the shorter version. So here, now, Prabhupada gave that example that our perception is also not clear because we cannot see Super Soul. And actually, there's three ladies doing this work, Sattva, Raja, Tama, the nature. And beyond that is the Super Soul is sanctioning, check mark. Like we don't see it. Why? Because our perception is hazy. Hazy means like a cloud. The sun is like Krishna. And so you can say three-level hierarchy. That three modes are covering me, and I cannot understand Krishna here or cannot see. So sun is there, and the cloud, this Maya, or through the demigods and through my senses, is coming, covering my perception to Krishna. Krishna is above, but I cannot see it. Of course, we know that Maya or the cloud cannot cover the sun. This is a very nice key point Prabhupada makes, that sun cannot be covered by cloud. But cloud can cover my perception. Cloud can cover observer vision. So Krishna is telling that he's like sun. In the Paramam Abhayam, in that verse, Sarvamidam Jagat Murayam Navi Janati Parama Abhayam, that I am transcendental, but you cannot see. Now, how to see it? I have to go through, pierce through the three modes, or transcend and land on pure goodness. And how do we land? By the mercy of Guru Prabhupada's this knowledge. When we accept this knowledge and we act on it, we feel a transcendental urges to see the Lord or to hear about him. That feeling actually connects us to pure goodness. This is very practical. You have to go within you, because within this body is the soul and the Krishna is there. So now coming to this point, that when we say Doibi Esha Gunamai, so Doibi means the divine. Indeed, why it is divine? Because it is generally we think it is Maya, how it can be divine. Because Maya makes people demoniac. We just heard all these challenges we have in life. These are created by Maya, or you can say supplied by Maya. Maya, which make people drive away from Krishna. This is Maya's number one job, to drive away from Krishna by giving this demoniac quality. Yes. If Maya takes people towards wrong thing, then why Maya should be considered to be divine? That's a legitimate question. Maya makes people lusty, Maya makes people greedy, Maya makes people angry, and all the observatives, perversities, people engage in are caused by Maya, whether through the demigod, through the senses, it's the same thing. She's the overall orchestrator. So how can Maya is considered to be divine? So observative and preservative are not caused by Maya. That is my point. They are facilitated by Maya. They are caused by each of our free will. Now, while I'm discussing this, I want you to meditate on one episode you all are familiar. That Vasudev Maharaj, when Krishna appeared, he did not take birth in Mathura. He appeared as a full grown up, 16 years old Narayan form. And then, of course, by the request, after the conversation, he took the form of a child. And Vasudev Maharaj took him middle of the night and he placed his son in Nanda Maharaj's maternity home of Mother Joshoda. She had a hard labor, long labor. Actually, Jogamaya put her to sleep, so nothing can be visible when Vasudev Maharaj goes there. Then he picked up this girl, Jogamaya. Jogamaya is divine. Mahamaya is also divine. Now I'm going to bring you the collaboration. What is the missing point? And I hope some of you can, all of you can grab it and apply it in your life. I'm sure you're already doing it probably. I'm just reinforcing that idea. So when Vasudev Maharaj came back and he handed over out of great affection for the baby to get some breast milk from Mother Devaki. Mother Devaki fell in love and so intense. Of course, she's a little overwhelmed. Her son is gone somewhere, but replaced by this. But she is aligned with it because this is the desire of the Lord. So she's so much in love, but then she's also tormented because if Kamsa finds out, he's going to come to kill her. Oh, it was like a horrible feeling, extreme happy of holding the child. Jogamaya's presence actually was making her comfortable. At the same time, she had the other side, turmoil. Now just observe that scenario. And then Kamsa was not planning to kill Krishna at that time because it was 8 months, 8 months, few days, and Krishna will be taking birth in 9.5 months or 10 months, something like that. So he's not worried, it's another month or half to wait. But Krishna appeared according to Khamanika, a famous astrologer Prabhupada recognized also. He mentioned about Khamanika. It's a premature birth. Well, there's no such thing called premature birth in Krishna's case, but just to create more rasa, he appeared there. And then the news came, then Kamsa woke up, jumped from his bed, and he came like a Jamaraj or Jamadutas. Now, what caused the Jogamaya slipped off later on from Kamsa's hand as Mahamaya? While you meditate, I am going to explain this. This is how we can actually, all these challenges, yes, this chapter explaining that how we are suffering and we are experiencing that suffering, but how we can actually live in this world, in this body, and transform from Mahamaya to Jogamaya through our attitude. See if we can catch. So earlier, we discussed some choice we have. Now, I'm sure you all have multiple choice question, just like I did a Jaiva Dharma study group. And in every session, we had a multiple choice question. Now, in the multiple choice question, one Prabhu called me from Europe. He was also taking that course. And he says, now, in multiple choice, there's a 4 option. One is right and remaining is wrong. Now, remaining 4 may be wrong. So when they're wrong like this, who is making them wrong? That's the question. Is it Pran Govind Das, who was the teacher? Or is it this Prabhu, who is the student? I asked him. The teacher is providing the options, but the teacher also provides the education for right option. And the student is responsible for wrong choice. The student cannot tell the teacher that you gave me wrong option. I simply selected the wrong option. So if I get 4 marks, you are responsible, not me. So it is Maya who gave me the option. It is we who tick the choice. If we take guidance from our Guru, Prabhupada, Sadhu, Shastra, we won't take the wrong choice. If we understood they are delivering the knowledge to our heart and we apply, so we understood. That's what understand means, scrutinizing, examining, and comprehending. This all together is called understand to me. So when we understood, then we can tick. We'll never tick the wrong choice, but we'll tick the right choice for sure. So the purpose of teacher is not to fail. Teacher here is Krishna, you can say. Teacher is not to fail the student, but to promote the student. And if the student fails, that is primarily because the student does not understand, did not understand. Maybe student did not fail. Other day I was saying that one devotee says, how about depending on Krishna? Do I have to still plan for it? Then the answer is that depending on Krishna is not irresponsibility. Depending on Krishna means responsibility. If I say, well, exam is coming next week, and my mother say, are you studying, boy, for the exam? If I say, well, why do I have to study? I depend on Krishna. Now, depend on Krishna means Krishna will grade 100 marks. I'll pass. I'm not worried about it. But that is not what our teacher or Krishna is teaching. He said, you have to be responsible. You have to set a goal. But after the goal, after you finish the exam, don't worry for the result. Krishna says, don't worry for the result. But he did not say, don't plan for the goal. We have to plan. At the moment of death, what will be the result? That is up to Krishna and Guru. We are not concerned about that. But we must plan now, everyday sadhana. So the purpose of teacher is not to fail the student. Purpose of Maya also not to fail us, because she is a chokidar. Chokidar in Indian language means a guard, a loyal guard at the gate who does not allow to see the master. So I remember Sachinandan Maharaj was explaining one time, similar thing that I read also Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur gives. Many teachers, one friend also explained that there's a big bulldog of a rich man's gate. This bulldog does not allow anybody to come. Now, if you try to fight with the bulldog, I hope nobody does that, because there's no way you're going to win, because they're expert on biting you, as expert on attacking and make you not to allow and not to enter. But the bulldog also has a name called Maya. So the landlord or the rich man that who going to make you fortunate, if you have a contact with him or connection with him, you can say, I'm at your gate. And the rich man, Krishna, can say, hey, Maya, quiet, that's my friend. The bulldog will be like, oh, like a quiet, like goes down. You'll be surprised. This is so scary dog, but this dog is so loyal to the master. It's leave me alone and I can just reach to the palace without any obstacle. So we have to look at from that angle. Well, there's a two way to look at it. One is that the setup by which illusion are presented are created by Maya. But it is we who choose to go to Maya or stay out of Maya, and each of us has the power to stay out of Maya. Each of us, every soul has. But Krishna says, Mama Maya, saying that it is my energy, it will be very difficult to cross. But if we follow Krishna's plan, then it will not be difficult. Sometimes even a logic question comes, like this Prabhu was asking me other day also. He says, how come that Krishna is our beloved? Why he's our father, loving father, and he has unlimited love. We can never do anything to make him angry to us, because his love has no restriction for us. So how come he does not train directly to us? Why he hand over to Maya to train us, to mold us to go back? So I asked him, did you go to school when you were a little child? He said, yes. Did you ever had a private tutor? He said, yes. I said, why? Your parents were not educated? They were not qualified? Oh, no, my father was a doctor. He's qualified. So how come he did not teach you? He could have taught you. The parent loved the child, but tutor may be a disciplinary and strict, so that the child and he ensured the child is educated properly. We see in our own life, we cannot blame any reason to Krishna. And even if we think there is something not right, Krishna who have done something, means is a resentment. This is a one deadly disease. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says is the cause of impersonalism. Ability to devotional service caused us to be envy because we want to enjoy with unlimited capacity, but we are limited. We are frustrated. This is very interesting. So, because Sri Krishna is determined to ensure that only those who use their free will properly will get through, and this is ensured, implemented, actualized by material nature, Maya Devi. And I'm sure some of you already knew that a story of Srila Prabhupada, when devotees said in the morning walk that since our purpose is to serve Krishna, then why Maya is so strong? Oh, this is also in first canto, purport of King Parikshit's, end of the chapter. That same similar thing Prabhupada repeated. Then Prabhupada said that if you purpose to serve Krishna, then no, the question was why Maya is strong. Then Prabhupada said immediately, he was fully aware that your purpose to serve Krishna is not strong. It's not strong. What does it mean? If the purpose is to serve Krishna, then why Maya is so strong? Because our purpose is not strong. This is a fact. This is very true. Actually, all the temptation will trouble us as long we are not determined to serve Sri Krishna. And once we make our mind to serve Sri Krishna, then we don't be overcome by temptation. Temptation will come, but we can put them aside. In my own practical life, I'm begging also mercy from all of you to empower me so I can always stay focused, because you all are devotees. So, because we can understand that I'm going to be fixed in my purpose of serving to Krishna, actually this principle of strong purpose, helping a person, any devotee, anywhere, overcome, is seen everywhere. Even my student life, I remember when I was serious about studies, then the grade came to a point they give you, escape a grade. So when we make a serious commitment to do the sadhana, then overcoming Maya is easier. Not that Maya will be removed. You will still go through the challenges, but Krishna will be there with you to go through the challenges. And will be soothing ride. Will be still maybe little rock, maybe little tremble here, there. But still, it will not be frustrated, bored or anything. It will be joyful. Because happiness is also decision. Like for our sadhana, austerity is also a decision. We choose to do this. So decision is also happiness. Happiness is decision. Happiness is emotion. Yes, we do that. But at least the decision happiness we can start getting now. So this is very important. Temptation means that it gives you a false promise for pleasure, but it never delivers the complete pleasure. It will never happen. And unfortunately, something I learned from one interesting man. I like him a lot because this was his fourth marriage. And I said, just as a friendly question, why you keep on divorce, marriage. What is the ultimate? What are you trying to get? He said, I'm hoping something will work out. I said, work out what? So relationship. I said, what relationship? What are you looking for? So anyway, he says that I'm not going to give up, that the pleasure cannot be there. I said, but according to our scriptures, very scientifically proven, there is never, you will be ever get complete pleasure. So Govind, that's like a doomed, I'm doomed. I say, yes, if you don't understand, you'll never, because you are also aging. You are already 63, was 63 that time. I said, in 10 years, 20 years, you will be old haggard. You will not be even, you are going to be exhausted. You cannot even properly reciprocate. Tribulation will come. Tribulation means it will give you threatening of pain of old age. So while you are young, try to get into the philosophy to understand. And of course, after he took a book and he understood that purpose of life to actually to study and understand and rectify my attitude and develop a good quality by accepting bhakti and go back home, back to Godhead. That's all it is, all boils down to. So with that note, I'll end here by saying that it is up to us if we really want to get out of this material existence. We have to have a strong desire. And when we make a strong desire, Krishna will reciprocate with that and he will uplift us. I'll end here, mothers and Prabhus, if any reflection or further discussion.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful and very enlightening class today. I'm requesting devotees, if anybody have any questions or realization, please go ahead. You can raise your hands.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, very, very nice, instructive class, Prabhuji. Means you were saying you want to sing one bhajan?
Oh, Krishna. Yes. I forgot the other part.
So if you want to sing now, that would be nice.
Yes, Mother. Thank you so much. I completely forgot about it. Because how to get out from Naradama? The third question was, Naradama becomes Narottama.
Narottama, yeah.
And this is our goal. Okay, I'm Naradama, not you all, but I know I am a Naradama. Duskriti means not according to align with Krishna's plan. So how to become the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the song actually he said it, that how we can become Narottama. So if you put that song, let's see if I can find.
Yeah, Mataji can help. Vinita Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mata. This is wonderful. I forgot. Sri Krishna, I'm just going to sing it one line at a time. So we'll do it quick. We cannot do response. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Saparsada Siyodhama Sahayavatari Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Atanta Durlabha Prema Karibare Dan Sikhaye Saranagati Bhakatera Pran Dainayatmani Vedana Trite Varana Abashara Shive Krishna Visasa Palanam Bhakti Anukula Matra Karjera Sikaram Bhakti Pratikula Bhava Varjanangikara Saranga Saranagati Haibe Jahara Tahara Prarthana Sune Srinanda Kumara Rupa Sanatana Pade Dante Trina Kori Bhakati Vinoda Pare Duhupada Dari Kandiya Kandiya Bole Amitaya Dhama Sikhaye Saranagate Karahe Uttama Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Kori Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Maybe we can read the translation. Can somebody read the translation a little louder?
Sri Krishna Prabhuji, I will read the first one. Out of compassion for fallen souls, Sri Krishna Chaitanya came to this world with his personal associates and divine abode to teach Sharanagati, the goal of surrender to the ultimate Godhead, and to free, distribute ecstatic love to the God, who ordinarily very difficult to obtain. This Sharanagati is the very life of the true devotee. So anybody would like to read the next one?
The way of Sharanagati are humility, dedication of the self, acceptance of the Lord as one's only maintainer, faith that Krishna will surely protect, execution of only those acts favorable to the pure devotee, and renunciation of the conduct advice of the pure devotion.
The youthful son of Nanda Maharaja, Sri Krishna hears the prayers of anyone who takes refuge in him by this sixfold practice.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. Bhaktivinoda places a straw between his teeth, prostrates himself before the two Goswamis, Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana, and clasps their lotus feet with his hands. I am certainly the lowest of men, he tells them weeping, but please make me the best of men by teaching me the ways of Sharanagati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Any reflection, comment, question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is Kamuniki Dasi. Please explain the 1865. The verse in Bhagavad Gita, 1865 purport. Srila Prabhupada is giving Prabhupada is giving, I'll just read it from it. This verse stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with her beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has many multi-forms as a Vishnu, Narayan, Ram, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confident part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So I like you to just shed some more lights on it, so then for my understanding, and I hope everybody else was also like Hare Krishna.
You are like a honey bee. You are not interested of the, I mean, you are interested on the sloka, but you picked the cream of the, I would say, essence of the Prabhupada's inner feeling. This is very interesting. We were discussing other day, Mata, that some devotees were reading that the 8, verse number 8, Tanama, yes, Tanama Rupa Charita Disukitana Smitto Kramena Rasana Manashin Yujja Tistan Brajet Adonaragi Jananugami Kalam Nayat Akilam Iti Upadesha Saram. So one should, until the last breath of his or her life, he should remember this essence, most important, essential advice of all advice, that one should focus on the Krishna's form, the holy name, the associates, Parikar, Vaishishta, his all this sweetness, and that has to be executed by following the mood of a particular associate of Lord Krishna. So how to understand this? So they said, let's go ask Prabhupada. So they knocked the door and they came in and they asked Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, here it says that we should follow a Brajabasi to actually please Krishna, serve Krishna in that realm. So which Brajabasi should we follow? Prabhupada did not even, sometimes Prabhupada is very humble to me, but sometimes he cannot control or check his own spiritual identity. So within a moment, he says, well, I'm here. It says Brajabashi. Prabhupada says, yes, I am. So Prabhupada revealed that he is coming from Vrindavan. So what do you expect, Mata? Do you expect him to glorify or give the other form of Krishna in Dwarka and Mathura? In Krishna Lila, it says that Gaur Govinda Maharaj explains that few questions. One question is, did Krishna ever left Vrindavan? So Jiva Goswami says, well, in this pastime, actually Krishna did go, but to understand more deeper, then he explains, he breaks it. He said, actually, Krishna never left. Krishna actually entered into Aprakat Lila. So in Vrindavan, there is two, Prakat and Aprakat. When we think of this purport, this is Prabhupada's own, then we think of Prabhupada's mood in this aprakat and prakat, which was visible to Uddhava, when Uddhava in 10th canto 46-47, if you look at that, it's sometimes confusing because Uddhava saw everybody is happy, joyful, they are so much in love with Krishna, they are playing, prank, and the boys are playing in one side, other side, the girls are playing with Krishna, they're being wonderful. Then Uddhava was, then when we read, it's like, wait, is there some noise? Let's see. Is everybody okay? Okay. Rajiv Prabhu, some noise is coming. So then you see little later, it's devastation. That Uddhava, remember Mother Jashoda, she was so much in love with Krishna, and her feeling for Krishna multiplied when Krishna left. Now, of course, we have to go back, just give me a few minutes, like to go back in Mathura when Krishna was expressing who Uddhava is. He is a counselor, a minister, and Rasagata, he is a servant, but he is also Sakha, but not ordinary Sakha, Priya Norma Sakha. How can you send a message to your lover through a messenger who is not in that category? Has to be. So Uddhava is very unique. Uddhava, in his highest understanding, he had complete knowledge. And in his highest understanding, he felt that he knew who Krishna is. Now, did Uddhava think Krishna belongs to Vrindavan or Mathura, son of Devaki and Vasudev Maharaj? Well, that was the preliminary conception he had. And one day when in the assembly, everybody is waiting, Maharaj Ugrasen, but Krishna is not there. He has a big throne. This is still in Mathura, not in Dwarka. Dwarka was not established. At that time, one day, Uddhava was thinking, who knows Krishna the most? It is I, the disciple of Brihaspati. I am the disciple of Brihaspati. I know Krishna. I have gathered knowledge of 18 schools. So I must be fully aware. But then that day in the meeting, Krishna was not coming, so he was like very nervous. So then finally he went to look after. He told everybody, please remain seated. I'm going to bring the Lord in the court, in the meeting court. Of course, this is much after Kamsa was killed and everything. So that time, Uddhava was looking for Krishna but could not find. At one point, he was thinking, he's everywhere, but he's also physically present, personalized form of the Lord that I'm looking for. I know Krishna is everywhere. I know he's in my heart. Uddhava is thinking like this. But his personal appearance is so attractive, more than super soul, more than all pervasive concept. So he's looking, he's getting little emotion. Then all of a sudden, his thought, maybe I should look somewhere, not normal places Krishna would be there. So after searching, the weather was good. There was no rain or anything. He saw some water coming down from the roof. So this is unusual So he came out, he touched, as soon as he touched, he felt such ecstasy that he never experienced. So he wanted to find the source. He forgot about Krishna at that time. He wanted to find the source. Being so close to Krishna, who is that? He found that Krishna on the roof, alone, crying. His heart is overwhelmed and he's shedding tears. Now, until that moment, Uddhava never knew that God cries. So then he's hesitant because he's like, it's not aligning with his understanding that how can Supreme Absolute Truth, who knows everything, omniscient, omnipresent, he's everywhere, inside, outside, but what could be the cause for some great personality? He's the only personality shed tears or overwhelmed with emotion. So he's hesitant to come close because he doesn't know if it is appropriate or not. But then Krishna gave a signal with the hand, come nearby. He came very close. Then Lord expressed that how much this Brajabasi has affection for him. But then Krishna is such a wonderful beloved that he also raised Uddhava's, you can say, to feel confident. He says, but Uddhava, you know me the most here. You know everything about me. I'm everywhere. I'm super soul. I'm also person. To personalize relationship, I'm also appear as a person, as a medium size. Super soul is like minute, smaller than the soul. In 18th chapter, 19th chapter Madhya-lila, it says, Shukshanam ti jiva. I am the smaller than smallest, smaller than jiva. So bigger than biggest is like a bigger than the universe, the universal form. The bigger than that is that Mahavishnu. But I am the medium size to reciprocate. This is the most astonishing. Only devotees can know that, as you, Mother, read, this is the most astonishing. The medium size in Vrindavan is visible. So he told Uddhava, the Brajabasis, my mother, I have a boyfriend, girlfriend, they are devastated. I just don't know how to pacify. Because you know everything about me, perhaps you can go and pacify them. So when Uddhava came, now I'm going to jump to the other because it's long pastimes, beautiful pastimes. That Nanda Maharaj welcomed Uddhava, and Uddhava, remember, Krishna has a feeling for them, but they do not know Krishna's opulence. Well, he started explaining, Nanda Baba, you don't have to cry. He said, why are you saying like this? I should not cry. Said, he is in your heart. The same Lord is in your heart. He's actually everywhere. Every atom is there. And he's explaining so much of Paramatma philosophy, Brahman philosophy, then of course personal philosophy also, but other knowledge was emanating so much. So Nanda Maharaj composed little bit, but then he said, Uddhava, I cannot, I am hearing you, I'm trying to pacify, solace my feeling, but it is difficult. For a little while, few minutes, I'm feeling okay, he's everywhere, he's in my heart, that's nice. He said, maybe you should come outside. He said, no, I cannot go outside. Because when I go outside, every step I see him. He used to do here, this, he was doing this, he was doing this. How can I ever go outside and not get devastated by feeling. Then all of a sudden they realize Mother Yashoda crying like a baby. Then Nanda Maharaj, seeing this, Mother Yashoda's crying loudly for Krishna, is overwhelming the whole discussion. He's trying to pacify her. Yashoda Maya, your son has sent him. Please try to understand what he's trying to say. Your son wants to give us the news, report, and some prescription that what we should do. Mother Yashoda says, I have a prescription for him, not for my son, for Uddhava, who has come to give the prescription from our son. My prescription is send him back where he come from. And the Maharaj thought that's like a little unexpected. Please don't say like this. He is trying to pacify us. Said he can never pacify us. He does not know my son. I have given birth to him. There is an umbilical cord connected, then separated. The moment I was aware that my child was born, I could not see his face very clearly because he's crying for the breast milk, and breast milk was coming so much and he was drinking. Still, I was trying to see his face. But as soon as I pull him out from the breast, he cries, and then, but only way he can solace that drinking breast milk. But he's so attractive, unparalleled beauty. Nothing can pacify me without seeing that face. What he's going to teach me? He's everywhere. He doesn't know my son. I have raised him with Palan, Poshan, Taran, Barshan. I have scolded him. I have disciplined him. I have raised who Krishna is. This conception of everywhere he's God is, he can keep it in his own house, own heart, not in my area. I know who my son is. Uddhava realized, did Krishna send me to actually pacify them, or Krishna sent me to understand who they are, what love is, how he is captured, that he sheds tears in Mathura for them, that I never knew that God cries. This is Uddhava's. Later on, we will find also, even Srimati Radharani Express in Uddhava Gita explains, the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sanatana Goswami gives so elaborate. Radharani says, yes, your explanation of Krishna is Paramatma. Yeah, he's Paramatma. Because Paramatma is judge. He doesn't have any partiality, feeling. He cannot be empathetic. Because if he was empathetic, he could not tolerate to be away. Or maybe he is super soul. So he'll abandon us and go. Now this conception, Uddhava never heard. Uddhava never heard that this Krishna, Vrindavan Krishna, reciprocation between the Brajabasi, Brajagopis, Radharani's, Mother Yashodas, is such a high elevated. And Uddhava trying to find any knowledge within him. He had a big crown with all these 18 unlimited knowledge about God, absolute truth, omnipresent, omniscient. It's like a big crown of a king. Krishna was listening, Mother Yashoda's expression, now listening Radharani's expression. So what was the fault of Surpanakha? Oh, she knows Krishna as Ram. It is your cruel mentality that you choose to be with one wife, vow, with Sita, and you abandon her. And not only that, you allowed her to be deformed, cut the nose and the ear, that no man can like anymore. Even when she was reborn, now you cannot imagine this story of Kubja, everything is, Radharani is fully aware. What was her fault? Nothing, but this is your nature. You abandon us. But then she started crying. We cannot live without you. You are so beautiful, such a wonderful, charismatic, loving exchange. Uddhava was thinking all this emotion, even unfavorable emotion, is the highest form when it is visible in Vrindavan. Uddhava could not hold. He started crying, that he never experienced crying like this for Krishna by the infection or contagiousness of those Braja Gopis. That he fell full dandavat and he started praying to Krishna. Prabhu, it is no use of going to Mathura. You belong to here. You are a son of Mother Yashoda. You are a son of Nanda Baba. How is this? You can stay away. I never even heard or saw anybody has that kind of love. Krishna cried and cried, Uddhava cried and prayed while he's paying obeisances. Then he got up and he saw, wow, Lord appeared here. He created this Prakat Leela manifested in front of him. How joyful they are. It's unbelievable. Even the dust, food dust, touching Krishna's feet, because Krishna doesn't wear shoes in Vrindavan. Food dust touching. The food dust already preconceived with eternity and cognizant, now in ecstasy, cannot stay on the floor, growing in the cloud. Rupa Goswami Pad wrote this, Uddhava's vision. He said that everybody is serving, the food dust also serving, the sand, they're going in the sky, showing Mother Yashoda from miles and miles far away. Krishna is here. And Mother Yashoda said, thank you. Oh, the dust is there. My son is Lala, is playing there. Okay. She feels happy. Sometimes she cannot control. So she prays, she worships sun god. Can you come down now? I cannot tolerate any more separation. All of a sudden, sun comes down. So she does everything, demigod worship. This kind of observation made Uddhava completely fell at the feet of Brajavasi. Bande Nanda Brajostinam Padarenu Vyavikshnaso Jesham Hari Katodgitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. This is the mood Prabhupada had. So he cannot control himself. He expressed any opportunity. Even in a morning walk, Madan Mohan Prabhu was telling me, a Prabhupada's disciple here, lives here, good friend of mine. He said, what is that? One time Prabhupada said, I wish I would have a time to talk about Krishna with all of you. So intimate love with the Brajavasis. 1973, Prabhupada could not control. He could not even give class. He started crying like a baby. One devotee says, that time there was a war between Pakistan and India. When Prabhupada, in 73, there was a very tension. And he says, I have no idea what Pakistan is, but I heard they just don't go along, India and Pakistan. But the emotion Prabhupada had so affected. If Prabhupada would open a mouth and say, I want all of you, 400-500 Western devotees, to go to Pakistan, we would take the next flight and go there to preach. We would do anything and everything. The tears that appears when we understand the Brajavasi's love of Krishna's reciprocation. It's so contagious. Their Western body, they grow up as a beef eating, but they join, they surrender to Prabhupada. They felt that kind of overcoming the challenge, anything. They would do anything what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada didn't say anything in that lecture. After 10 minutes, he came out. He started speaking about his Guru Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta. Collapse again. Then after 10 minutes again, he came out. He said, he got up and went back to his house, room. Brajavasi's mood, this Vrindavan Krishna Prabhupada is explaining what Arjuna is seeing, that Arjuna could not control. He is now in Radhakund. He's still there meditating. One of these tree is there. So this is our object of love. Thank you for bringing that point. There's so many angles to look at this verse, at least that paragraph. It's so wonderful. Of course, you may have some doubt, I hope not, that Prabhupada installed Ram deity, but how come he did not promote? Because in America, when Prabhupada came a couple times, he mentioned, he said, I have come to teach you how to dance so you can join in Ras Leela with Krishna. Now in Ram Leela, here the line you just read, Mother. The Lord has multiform as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha. So just one example. In Ram Leela, the Dandakaranya forest sages, they wanted to serve Ram, but Ram could not accept them. He said, in my next Leela. In Krishna Leela, their Dandakaranya forest sages, they all joined as a gopi, Munichari, Srutichari, they all came different group, any group. Krishna is a wonderful object. Now, if our Sthai Bhav is Ram Bhakta, still you can relish Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu exhibited this. Jagai Madai was a Narayan Bhakta, Joy Vijay. They were there in Srivas Thakur house. What is Srivas Thakur house? Vrindavan Das Thakur explained. It's this Ras Leela, Rasastali place. So everybody has a privilege, all other avatar bhakta, to enter into Mahaprabhu's Leela also, where they could relish this Krishna consciousness. Not God consciousness, not any other consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Very particular. Akshayananda Maharaj asked Prabhupada, why you put Radha Parthasarathi temple in Delhi? How did you come up with this idea named Radha Parthasarathi? Parthasarathi means Krishna and Arjuna in Kurukshetra. So Prabhupada answered to him, he said, do you think Krishna ever not thinking of Radharani? Wow. So Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, he is guiding Arjuna to kill all this opponent, but Krishna also thinking of Radharani every moment during the battle. This is Prabhupada's mood. So you can understand your way. I hope this gives you some impetus, Mother, for your wonderful question.
Also have another, but I think it's going to take time and everybody, I don't know about the devotees, they have something about the song that Prabhupada sings, Paramakaruna Pahudui Jana, Nitai Gaura Chandra, and then Sab Avatari,
Kevala Ananda Kanda.
Kevala Ananda Kanda. So in that song, after saying that, then Prabhupada is singing Rama Nrsimha Varaha Kurma Sab Avatari Avatari.
In In a shorter version, this is beautiful. I won't take too much time, but in a shorter version, Krishna has all those quality, all those wonderful reciprocation that each avatar manifests. But each avatar cannot manifest all the quality of Krishna. So for an example, Nishinga, this is a confidential, I don't know, this is a devotee gathering, it's okay. Like Nishinga avatar is also within Krishna. Just like in their reciprocation, Krishna really like grabs sometime the gopis or Radharanis, and they get a scratch from Krishna's aggressive like enjoyment spirit. And one Acharya says this is Nishinga Rupam within him. Krishna has all the Rupam together in one, that is Krishna Rupam. Krishna, any avatar that any idea, any attractive lila that they perform, this is all within Krishna. That's why Nishingadev himself comes to Mangalarti of Mahaprabhu. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll see Prabhupada translated. The Nishingadev also come every day Mangalarti. Because Mahaprabhu is giving this opportunity for everybody to come to Krishna consciousness. This is never given. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says we can have both. We can be in with Mahaprabhu, with Krishna. And if particular devotee has a particular rasa with a Bamandev or somewhere, it's still there. You can be also with Mahaprabhu in Krishna. There's no harm. Rather, it will give you the highest. This is the only time, one of the four things Mahaprabhu most astonishing that Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says, no incarnation or even Krishna never gave this before. Another way to look at it also, Mother, an example, like if you go to, when you go to Mayapur, because I used to drink water from Ganges like this with the, so if you take one handful of salt, and of course salt is not eatable. I mean, little bit with the sabji mix is okay, but handful of salt is not tasty, at least to me. Now, if you dump it in the Ganges and you wash your hand and you take the water, there is no taste of salt. Then question comes, what happened to the salt that I dumped in the Ganges right here, but it's gone. I don't feel any taste of salt in the water. In other words, what I'm trying to say, that all those quality of all the incarnation, unlimited incarnation, is like a little quality manifesting in the Ganges water. But the main taste of Ganges water is very sweet. So Krishna, his predominating quality is the sweetness. Radharani does not have a sweetness. Radharani has the love, prema. Radharani is the emblem of prema. Krishna is the emblem of madhurima. And this reciprocation culminates, and all the incarnations are like a little quality of that unlimited quality Krishna has. All the incarnations are also Krishna himself. That's why that verse, if we meditate, will never commit offense. Otherwise, there will be offense if we think Bamandev or Nishingadev is not Krishna. This is in Madhya chapter 9, that discussion between Venkata Bhatta and Mahaprabhu. So the verse goes something like this, because this is one of the verse, like I chew it, like you can taste it like a candy. Siddhantastu abhedapi Srisha Krishna Sarupayo Rasena na krishyate esha Krishna Rupam Rasastiti. Siddhantastu abhedapi. As for transcendental realization, there is no difference between any incarnation. If we see any incarnation difference, we will commit offense. We have to be very careful. Our acharyas are so careful That's why Joydev Goswami did not say Nishingadev for Rupam, Vaman Rupam, Matsya Rupam. He says Kesavadrita Matsya Sarira, Mina Sarira, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. He said Kesavadrita. It is Krishna who assumed the form of Mina or fish. It is Krishna who assumed the form of Nishingadev. So when we see Nishingadev, we don't say Jai Nishingadev. We say, oh Krishna, you took the form of Nishingadev. Because we are in love with, we are follower of Prabhupada, we are in love with Krishna. But when we see Nishingadev, we say, oh Krishna, you took the beautiful form, half lion, half man, to protect the Prahlad. So kind of you, Krishna. Oh Krishna, you are so kind. You tricked Brikasura as a little boy, Bamandev. Or you cheated, Radharani said. Radharani knew who Krishna is. He said, you cheated this in the name of begging. Why? Why? This is your nature. Uddhava was surprised. Wow. She's in love with Krishna and glorifying by addressing him as a cheater. It's like unbelievable. Never heard of such thing. Radharani's mood is so high. Uddhava was overwhelmed. Yes, all the incarnation, as you read, Mother, yes, he's the avatari. And all those quality, all the incarnation pastime, we should be fully aware because these are Krishna's pastime. So we see it that way. Many ways you can look at it. I hope this gives you some idea. You have an ocean of nectar, Mother. You're just trying to pull a lot of nectar from your heart.
That gave me so much. I don't want to say anything, but then I could chant very nicely. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's already 9:17, Prabhuji. So
okay.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
So what do? We can close here or?
Yes. We are going to close, Prabhuji. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for enlightening class today. We are very grateful to you and we look forward to your association again and in the future. Let's pay our obeisance to Prabhuji.
Namo Namaha. Bhagavatam ki jai. Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Prabhuji ki
jai. Thank you,
Bhakti Japasanga Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's class. We'll meet again.
Her mother.
What?
Her mama. Oh.